A bloodbath sparked by a single hunting rifle. Susan was finally taken to a proper hospital, and the boy who pulled the trigger was arrested, but the butterfly effect it set in motion was far from over. Against Richard's wishes, Amelia secretly took his 2 children to her son's wedding. The celebration was joyful and lively. The kids had the time of their lives, with none of the dangers Susan had warned about. Amelia slipped into a red dress she hadn't worn in years, embracing her growing, handsome son. From day to night, the children laughed and played non-stop, but it was time to head home. Concerned that his brother had been drinking, Amelia's nephew volunteered to drive them back. His eyes glassy with alcohol, he set off with his aunt and the 2 kids, heading for the border. When they reached customs, Amelia told the officers she was the children's nanny. The guards checked the kids' passports.
Is there a problem? Should there be one?
But Amelia sensed her nephew was antagonizing them, prompting a more thorough search. They rummaged through the trunk, the toolbox, and Amelia's bag before demanding a letter of authorization from the children's parents. Amelia didn't have one. As the nephew stumbled through an explanation, the officers realized he was drunk and ordered him to pull over immediately. But just as he was about to comply, he slammed on the gas and raced past the checkpoint. What should have been a minor incident escalated into a crisis. Amelia begged him to stop, but he blamed her for bringing the kids along. With the children crying in the back seat, he began driving the wrong way down the highway to evade the police. Eventually, he dumped Amelia and the kids in the middle of a desolate desert, promising to return once he'd lost the cops. This was a harsh, arid wasteland where countless migrants vanished every year. Telling the children to stay put, Amelia set off to find help. After walking for miles, she finally flagged down a police car only to be arrested as a suspected human trafficker, cuffed and detained. Through tearful pleas, she convinced the officers to follow her back to the spot where she'd left the kids. But when they arrived, the children were gone. Amelia had raised them since birth, feeding them, playing with them, loving them as her own. The butterfly effect showed no signs of stopping. After tracing the hunting rifle to its Moroccan owner, police used registration records to find its original owner, a Japanese hunter. They contacted Japanese authorities, who visited the hunter's home while he was away, only finding his daughter, Chieko. They asked her to have her father call them when he returned. But Chieko, a deaf and mute teenager, immediately fell for the detective. Trapped by her disability, she'd never known normal love. Her mother, her only confidant, had died, and her father was rarely home. Boys who tried to talk to her would abandon her once they realized she couldn't speak, mocking her with their friends. Living in darkness, Chieko began acting out recklessly, kissing her dentist, partying with strangers, laughing wildly in neon-lit clubs. But when the boy she liked kissed her best friend, a silent shadow fell over her pale face. This chaotic life wasn't what she wanted. On her way home, she thought of the detective and invited him to her house under the pretense of talking about her father. Chieko had assumed the police were investigating her mother's death, but they only wanted to confirm if her father had voluntarily given the rifle to the Moroccan hunter. It was a simple question, but Chieko took the chance to undress, convinced she'd never be truly understood, so she might as well give in to reckless desire. The detective gently refused her advance, but he understood her pain. For the first time in years, Chieko felt seen and cared for. When her father came home, he found his daughter's clothes scattered across the messy house, with no sign of her until he saw her standing naked on the balcony. The silent teenager threw herself into his arms, sobbing out over a decade of grief and loneliness. The children lost in the border desert were finally rescued, but Amelia was permanently deported. As the border police led her away, they told her, "This isn't your fault." The film weaves 4 stories across 4 countries, all tied to one hunting rifle, a Japanese woman's tragic end, a hunter's gift that led to Susan's shooting, a Moroccan family torn apart, and a nanny who lost everything she loved. If there had been more understanding, more communication, this chain of devastating consequences might never have happened.